Hello, in this YCharts 101 video, we'll be going through ESG pages for stocks and funds on YCharts. We source our ESG data directly from MSCI, and we'll use Apple's page as an example today. The first module is called ESG Overview. The first half shows you the ESG rating, and the second half shows you the ESG scoring breakdown. There are different color gradients here for the different rating levels to give you a sense on how good or bad a certain rating is. Then we have the two one-liners here. First one provides you with some context around a company's given rating, and the second one tells you the ratings trends. So for Apple, we can see that it had robust data security practices, but controversies are weighing down on corporate behavior practices. However, it was upgraded to A from BBB, meaning that the overall trend is still upward in the last round of ESG rating evaluation for Apple. Here we see the three pillar scores for a company's ESG score. We display the numerical score, their quartile within their respective industry peers, first being the best and fourth being the worst, as well as how much each score weighs in the overall score. We have a pie chart of the weights here to give you a visual understanding of the weight distribution, which could vary by industry. On the right-hand side, there's a company's basic info and how its industry peers are doing in regards to their ESG pillar scores. We also have a new ESG news module here, which is currently empty because we'll fetch the latest ESG news as they come in. Next, we have the environmental module. We also display the numerical score and the quartile info here. Then we go into the more granular underlying data points. We display the carbon emissions scope 1 plus 2, as well as the carbon emissions scope 3. We also show you whether a company owns any fossil fuel reserves and what the aggregated warming potential caused by the company's total emission is. The 2 degrees Celsius is a goal set in the Paris Climate Agreement, and we use it as a benchmark here. Next up, we have the social module. We display the numerical score and the quartile info. Then we show you whether a company has any ties to the three industries listed here: controversial weapons, civilian firearms, and tobacco. We also present how the company is doing in terms of complying the United Nations Guiding Principles for Business and Human Rights. A company could pass, fail, or on the watch list for the principles. As you can see, Apple is doing pretty well on all four. Lastly, we have the governance module. We show you what the female directors and the independence percentages are for the entire company board. We also tell you whether the short-term and long-term compensations of a company's CEO are in line with the company's performance. This was a quick overview of the company ESG page, and we'll move on to a fund ESG page. For funds, we will use Dodge & Cox stock as an example. Similarly, we have the ESG overview module here. First half shows you the fund's ESG rating, and the second half shows you the fund's ESG scoring breakdown. Again, we show you the three pillar scores, and we show you the weight distribution to give you a visual understanding. On the right-hand side, a little bit different from the company's page, we show you the fund's basic info, and we show you the fund's positive and negative trends of its holdings ESG ratings. So it's telling you whether the ESG ratings of the holdings are going positively or negatively. We also show you the exposure to different ESG rating levels. So how much of the fund's holdings are ESG leaders, which is rated AA or A, or average or laggers. Then we also have the peer benchmark and some ESG news of the fund. Back to the left-hand side, we have the environmental module, which shows you the fund finance carbon emission and the weighted average carbon intensity, which measures a fund's exposure to carbon-intensive company. We also display the fossil fuel reserve percentage bar here, telling you the percentage of a portfolio's market value exposed to companies that own any fossil fuel reserves. Next, we have the social module. Again, we show you a fund's holdings involvement in the three industries: controversial weapons, civilian firearms, and tobacco, as well as whether any holdings of the fund had violated human rights norms. Next, we have the governance module. We show you the fund's female and independent board percentages of the holdings, as well as the holdings CEO pay performance links. At the bottom of this page, we have a table presenting the weight, ESG rating, and scoring breakdown of a fund's top 25 holdings, which gives you a quick sense on how we arrived at some of the numbers above and how the top holdings are doing with their ESG evaluations. I hope this ESG walkthrough was helpful. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions for us. Thank you.